They told you to be realistic, to play it safe, to take what you're given, and be grateful. But deep down, you feel it, the quiet fire, the whisper in your chest that says, there's more for you than this. Not someday, not when you're older. Now! This is the chapter they don't want you to hear. Because once you understand this, once you truly ignite your desire, you're dangerous. You're unstoppable. This isn't hype. This is not fluff. It's the first law of success. You must want it so badly, you're willing to burn for it. So if you're tired of waiting, tired of wishing, tired of others living a life that was meant for you, then stay with me all the way until the last word. Because this just isn't a speech. This is a warning to your doubt, to your fear, to your limits. You're not leaving this video the same. Let's begin. Everybody wants more money, more freedom, more time, more security, more options. But let's be honest, wanting isn't rare. Everybody wants. That's not special. The truth, desire alone doesn't move mountains. Burning desire does. The kind that consumes you. The kind that won't let you sleep until it becomes real. Most people just wish. They hope. They dream in silence. They say things like, one day I'll be rich when the timing is right, when I finally catch a break. But when that moment comes to act, they fold, they wait, they scroll, they talk themselves out of it. They shrink back into their comfort zone. Let me tell you something real. Let me tell you something 100. A wish won't build wealth. Hope won't pay the bills. A fantasy won't change your legacy. You don't get rich by chance. You get rich by choice backed with relentless action. And the choice starts with one thing: a burning desire to be wealthy, no matter what. Desire is not just a feeling. It's not a vibe. It's not a mood. Desire is a decision. It's fire in your gut. It's obsession in your mind. It's war on your current reality. Napoleon Hill didn't say be interested in money. He didn't say dabble in success. He said you need a burning desire for riches. One that's definite. One that refuses to be ignored. One that doesn't die when you're tired, broke, or doubted. This isn't about greed. It's about freedom. It's about options. It's about being the one in your family that breaks the cycle. It's about building something so strong that your children never have to beg another man for opportunity. So let me ask you straight. Do you wish to be rich? Or do you demand wealth from life and take it? Because the people who win, the ones who build real fortune, aren't the ones who kinda want it. They're not the ones who wait for signs or ask for permission. They're the ones who can't sleep at night because the vision of wealth is louder than their excuses. They wake up early, they stay up late, they study, they grind, they sacrifice because they made a vow. I will be rich or nothing less. That's not just desire, that's destiny, ignited by decision. So again, do you just want to be rich? Or do you want it so bad that you'll burn everything average to get there? Because one of these paths leads to fortune, and the clock is already ticking. Napoleon Hill gave you the formula. Not a guess, not a maybe, not a theory. A real blueprint for wealth. Tested, proven, undeniable. If you're serious about getting rich, tattoo these 6 steps in your mind. Then let them burn your soul. Live them every day, because this is where the dream becomes a plan, and the plan becomes power. Step 1, decide exactly how much money you want. Don't just say I want to be rich. That's lazy thinking. The universe doesn't move for vague goals. It responds to clarity. So decide, I want 100,000, I want 1 million, or I want 10 million. Be specific. Be unapologetic. You're not being greedy, you're being intentional. Until the number is clear, the path will always be blurry. Step 2, decide what you'll give in return. Wealth isn't free. You don't get something for nothing. What will you give up to get it? Will it be your time, your late nights, your comfort zone, your weekend parties, your old identity? Success demands a trade. And most people never get rich because they're not willing to pay the price. You will not rise without something falling away. Step 3, set a definite date. Goals without deadlines are just daydreams. You need pressure. You need urgency. You need a ticking clock that says, move now. Not someday, not when things feel right. Say it out loud. By December 31st, by my 30th birthday, within 12 months, time makes it real. Deadlines create focus. Without one, you'll drift forever. Step 4, create a plan. Not a perfect plan, not a complete plan, just a plan that gets you moving. Start with what you know. Map out the first step and take it. Don't wait to feel ready. Start messy. Start now. You can refine along the way because movement beats perfection. Always. The person who acts in faith will outrun the one who waits for certainty. Step 5. Write it down. Don't keep it in your head. Ink it into existence. Write the number, write the date, write what you'll give, write the steps you'll take. Make it real, make it right, make it tangible, make it visible every single day. This isn't a wish. This is a declaration of war against mediocrity. Step 6, read it twice a day. Once when you wake up to set the tone for your day. Once before bed to program your mind as you sleep. Say it out loud. Feel it. Visualize it. Obsess over it. See the number in your bank account. See the lifestyle. See the freedom. Feel the emotion of already having it. Your subconscious mind responds to repetition. Repetition builds belief. Belief builds momentum. And momentum builds fortune. These aren't suggestions. These are commands for your future. Commands from a man who studied 500 millionaires. And every single one of them used this formula to win. Follow it or fall behind. Apply it or stay average. You already know the steps. Now ask yourself, will I do the work or will I keep watching others live their dream? Because this plan works. The only variable now is you. Every person who ever achieved greatness, every millionaire, every empire builder, every game changer started with something the world couldn't see. A spark, a whisper, a vision, a desire so loud, logic doesn't matter. They were told, it's impossible, you're not qualified, you're too young, you're too broke, you're dreaming too big. But real desire doesn't care if it makes sense. It doesn't care if you have the money, the degree, the connections, the perfect plan. Because desire doesn't ask how. Desire declares, I will. Let me tell you about Edward C. Barnes. He didn't have credentials. He didn't have a dollar to his name. He wasn't born into wealth. And he had never met Thomas Edison. But he had one thing. An unshakable desire to work with Edison, not for him, but with him. That's all, no plan B, no backup option. So what did he do? He got on the freight train, dirty, broke, desperate, and went straight to Edison's lab. No appointment, no resume, no invitation. He knocked, he spoke up. He told Edison, I came to go into business with you. Most people would laugh. Most people would say, that's crazy, that'll never work. You should be realistic. But Edison didn't laugh. He saw something rare. A man who already decided. Barnes didn't get the partnership right away. He swept floors, he ran errands, he waited for his moment. But he stayed close, he stayed hungry, he stayed ready. And when Edison needed someone to sell his invention, the Ediphone, Barnes seized the opportunity. He crushed it. He sold more than anyone. And finally, he became Edison's business partner. Not because he was lucky, not because he had money, but because he had fire. That's not talent. That's not privilege. That's obsession with purpose. That's what burning desire looks like. It bends the world. It breaks rules. It redefines what's possible. And it doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't slow down when the doors are closed. It finds a way in. Desire defies logic. It's stronger than rejection. It's louder than doubt. It's deeper than fear. And the best part, you don't need anyone's approval to start. Not your parents, not your friends, not society, not your current bank account balance. You just need one thing. A desire so hot, so loud, so alive, it burns brighter than every excuse you've ever had. So if they tell you you're not smart enough, you're not connected enough, you're not ready, you look them dead in the eye and say, watch me. Because if Barnes could walk into Edison's office broken, unknown, and walk out a partner, what's really stopping you? Desire is the spark. It's the ignition, the flame in your soul that whispers, I was made for more. But a spark alone won't change your life. Fire needs fuel. It needs direction, needs movement, because dreams without action are just smoke. If you've ever felt that tug in your chest, that voice in your mind saying, this isn't all there is, it's because you were made for more, much more. But here's the truth. More doesn't come knocking. It doesn't fall in your lap. It doesn't show up when it's convenient. You have to demand it. You have to bleed for it. You have to sacrifice average to achieve abundance. You can't coast into success. You can't scroll your way into millions. You can't wish your way into freedom. You must declare war on comfort, war on excuses, war on the old version of you, the one who settles, the one who hesitates, the one who dreams but doesn't act. So right now, say it out loud. I will win. I will earn. I will grow. I will become. Say it with emotion. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. Say it like your kids are listening. Say it like your bloodline depends on your breakthrough, because it does. Here's the truth. Every day you wake up without a goal, you're drifting. Every day you ignore the fire inside, it gets dimmer. Every day you hesitate, you train your mind to settle, but not anymore. From this day forward, you write your goals. You read it every morning. You visualize it every night. You see them clearly. You feel it deeply, and you move toward it relentlessly. This is the formula. Desire plus belief plus action equals fortune. Let me repeat it. This is the formula. Desire plus belief plus action equals fortune. When desire meets belief, when desire meets action, that's when the world moves. That's when destiny bends. That's when your life begins to look like a dream. Not someday, not after things calm down, not next year, not when you're ready, now! Because every second you delay, someone else is claiming a life that could have been yours. You already have the fire. Now feed it. Now fuel it. Now follow it all the way to freedom. Burn the bridges. Light the path. And don't stop until your bank account, your legacy, and your life match the vision that's been screaming inside of you for years. This is your time. Turn the fire into fortune. So let me ask you, not casually, not politely, but with urgency, with intensity, what do you really want? Not what sounds nice, not what looks good on paper, What sets your soul on fire? What goals keep whispering to you when the world goes quiet? What are you willing to give for it? Because the price is real. It's time, it's energy, it's sacrifice. It's late nights and early mornings, and doing what others won't so you can live how others can't. And what are you doing today to get it? Not next week, not when life slows down, not when it becomes easy. Today. Because dreams expire without action. Because every excuse buys you another year of regret. This is the line. Right here, right now. This is where the broke stop. This is where the bold begin. The world doesn't hand out power. It doesn't dominate riches. It doesn't give success to the lukewarm. You have to take it. You have to earn it. You have to want it like oxygen. Desire isn't optional. It's the first step to power, to wealth, to influence, to freedom. So feel it, fuel it, live it. Let it burn through every excuse you've ever made. Let it guide every move you make from this moment forward. Because in the end, it's not about luck. It's not about chance. It's not about waiting for the stars to align. You said this before, maybe in passing, maybe under your breath. I can't do this. I'm just not that guy. That's not who I am. Harmless, right? Wrong! Those words are orders. Orders to your subconscious mind. And guess what? It's always listening. There is no sarcasm in the subconscious mind. No metaphors. No just joking. It takes every word literally. It obeys without question, without delay, without fail. Every time you speak doubt, you program it. Every time you repeat limitation, you lock it in. This isn't motivation. This is biology. This is psychology. This is auto-suggestion, inspired by the book Think and Grow Rich. Let's break it down, how these teeny habits become massive chains, and how to break free. There's a war going on inside your head, and it's not silent. It's constant, relentless. Two voices fighting over control. Every hour, every moment, every breath. One voice says, you got this. You're strong. You're capable. Keep going. We were built for this. And the other voice whispers, you're always gonna screw up. You're not smart enough. You're not built like them. Don't try. You'll just fail again. Now let me ask you, which voice wins? Always the same answer. The one you feed. See, most men don't lose because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack time. They collapse because they believe the wrong voice. We live in a world that trains men to be mentally weak. From the moment you're young, you're bombarded with messages telling you to doubt yourself. Commercials say, you're not attractive enough. Buy this. Social media says, you're not successful enough. Compare yourself. The world says, play it safe. Play it small. Be realistic. And slowly, the second voice, the one that whispers fear, becomes the one you trust most. But here's what they don't tell you in school. Your inner voice is the architect of your reality. Your inner voice is the architect of your reality. And Think and Grow Rich isn't just a book about getting money. It's about reprogramming your belief system. Because wealth, power, respect, focus, they all begin in the mind. Before you ever hold success in your hands, you must hold it in your mind. Napoleon Hill called it auto-suggestion. The conscious practice of planting thoughts in your subconscious mind until they take root and reshape your identity. Let's break that down. You already talk to yourself daily. That voice in your head, that's auto-suggestion. But most of the time, it's unconscious and negative. Let's be real. How often do you say things like, I'm not good at sales. I can't stay consistent. I always lose focus. I don't have the discipline. I'm not just that lucky. I'll never be like him. Now ask yourself, where did those thoughts come from? Were you born thinking that way? Of course not. They were downloaded from school, from rejection, from failure, from comparison, from trauma. But here's the trap. Say something enough and your subconscious mind accepts it as law. That's danger. That's the silent killer of potential. Because the subconscious mind doesn't argue. It doesn't fact check. It doesn't say, wait, is that true? It hears, I'm not disciplined, and it goes, got it, boss. Let me make sure you act like someone who isn't. Then it goes to work. You stop trying, you hesitate before new opportunities, you procrastinate, you talk yourself out of big goals, you self-sabotage just before the big breakthrough, and you start to believe, maybe I'm just not made for more. But the problem isn't you, it's the program you're running. You see, your subconscious is like a soldier, loyal, obedient, emotionless. It simply follows the orders it's given, over and over and over again. And when your commands are weak, fearful, self-defeating, your life reflects it. So if you've been stuck and you feel like you're always falling short, you've been telling yourself, I don't know what's wrong with me. Here's your answer. You gave your subconscious mind the wrong script. You've been speaking like a victim. You've been narrating your limitations instead of your possibilities. You've been reciting a script of weakness and wondering why you don't feel strong. But the good news, that voice, the one inside you, can be retrained. It's not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. Stop feeding the voice of doubt. Stop watering the weeds and start building a new script, one sentence at a time. Speak like the man you want to become, not the boy you used to be. Instead of, I can't stay focused, say every day, I'm becoming more locked in. Instead of, I'm bad at sales, say, I'm learning to persuade into close with power. Instead of, I'm not consistent, say, I'm a man who finishes what he starts. It doesn't matter what you believe yet. What matters is repetition. What matters is conviction. What matters is that you show your mind who's in charge. Because your inner voice isn't just commentary. It's a command center. And every word you speak is the blueprint of who you're becoming. So from this day forward, speak like a king. Think like a builder. Talk to yourself like you already are the man you're chasing. Because eventually, your mind will believe you. And when your mind believes you, your actions follow, your habits shift, and your reality changes. One thought at a time. Here's the truth you were never taught in school. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always watching, always absorbing. And it's not judging you, it's not analyzing, it's not filtering good from bad, it just accepts. It records your words, stores your thoughts, and then works silently behind the scenes to turn them into reality. Your subconscious is the most powerful, obedient machine in the universe. But unlike your conscious mind, it doesn't debate. It doesn't question. It doesn't say, wait, is this what we really want? No, it says, Roger that. If that's what you believe, I'll make sure your life matches it. And that's what makes it so dangerous and so powerful. You see, the most impactful conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you genuinely hyped yourself up? No sarcasm, no fake flexing, just raw, honest self-encouragement. When's the last time you looked in the mirror and said, I'm powerful, I'm proud of the man I'm becoming, I'm unstoppable, and actually meant it? Most men never do. They feel silly, they laugh it off, they act like confidence is cringe. But let me tell you what's really cringe. Saying I'm tired 20 times a day like it's a badge of honor. Saying I'm broke and calling it a personality trait. Saying I suck at this every time it gets hard. Saying I'm just not good with women every time you get rejected and treating it like it's your destiny. That's auto-suggestion too. You're already practicing it, just in reverse. You're programming failure. You're hypnotizing yourself into weakness. You're building an identity that doesn't serve you. And then you wonder why life feels so heavy, why things don't change, why you're stuck in the same loop. It's not because life is unfair, it's because your language is lazy. But here's the difference between average men and elite men. The average man uses his voice to vent. The elite man uses his voice to reprogram. They understand this principle. The subconscious becomes what it hears most. So what do? They speak with intention. They declare their identity even before it feels true. They write it down, their goals every day in present tense. They speak affirmations out loud with emotion. They look themselves in the eye and say what they want to become, not what they feel right now. They visualize success as if it already happened. They protect their self-talk like it's sacred, because it is. And here's the wild part. It works, not because of magic, because your brain can't tell the difference between a thought repeated 1,000 times and reality. Let that sink in. If you tell your mind, I'm confident, focused, and magnetic, with enough conviction and repetition, your brain will begin to build neural pathways to match those words. Your behavior starts to shift. Your habits evolve. Your posture changes. Your voice gets deeper. People treat you differently, and they don't even know why. Why? Because your internal programming shift. You started broadcasting a new signal, and the world responded. You see, you don't need to be born confident. You don't need to fake it till you make it. You need to train it until it sticks. Just like going to the gym. You don't lift once and grow. You don't say one affirmation and expect a new life. If you show up every day, if you speak life into yourself with consistency and emotion, your mind will evolve. And when your mind evolves, everything else follows. Because you can't always control external circumstances, but you can always control your internal suggestions. You may not have $1 million yet. You may not have that dream body. You may not be living in that penthouse overlooking the skyline. But you can speak like that man. You can think like that man. You can reprogram your identity today and let your reality catch up tomorrow. That's the key. So from this moment on, no more careless words. No more I'm not good enough. No more I'm always messed up. No more I can't focus. No more I'm not lucky. Kill the language that kills your future. Replace it with a voice that commands your power. I'm focused. I finish when I start. I become more powerful by the day. I have what it takes. My success is inevitable. Say it until it feels real. Then say it more. Because the man who controls his language controls his mind. And the man who controls his mind becomes unstoppable. Now let's get tactical. Can we get tactical? Because I gave you the mindset. You felt the fire. Now let's turn the fire into a daily weapon. Because all this power means nothing if you don't apply it. So how do you actually use the auto-suggestion to change your life? Simple. Turn repetition into identity. Your brain equals a garden. Your mind is not a machine. It's a garden, and your words are seeds. Now ask yourself, what have you been planting? Most men walk around scattering seeds of weakness all damn day. I can't focus. I'm bad with money. I'll always be broke. I'm not the type who gets results. I'm lazy. I've always been that way. Then they're surprised when weeds grow in their mind, and they wonder why they procrastinate, they overthink, they quit early, they stay broke and feel lost. It's not random. It's just reaping what you planted. But here's the power of auto-suggestion. You can plant something else, something better, something stronger. You can rewrite the code of your identity, word by word. And it doesn't take magic, it takes consistency. Now here's the auto-suggestion routine, directly inspired by Think and Grow Rich. This is the blueprint. Do it every day. Watch yourself evolve. Step 1, choose your identity statement. This is not just a mantra, it's a new mental software. Make it personal, present tense, powerful. Here's some examples. I am focused, disciplined, a high-value man. I attract wealth through aligned action and purpose. I dominate distractions. I focus when I start. I speak with confidence. I lead with clarity. I am built to win, and I act like it daily. Get a pad and write down your own and say it like your life depends on it. Leave in the comments the first thing you wrote down. Step 2, write it, speak it, repeat it. Drill it in. Write your identity statement every morning. Say it out loud with intensity. Repeat it before bed. Set reminders on your phone. Record it. Listen to it during workouts, your walks, your grind. Burn it into your subconscious mind like a sculpture. It might feel awkward at first. Do it anyway, because success doesn't care about your comfort zone. Step 3, feel it like it's already true. Here's the secret sauce: emotion. Your subconscious mind doesn't just respond to words. It responds to emotion tied to words. Don't just say, I'm disciplined. Feel what it feels like to wake up at 5 a.m. Feel what it feels like to walk in a room and command respect. Feel the power of being the man who gets things done. Close your eyes. See him. Hear him. Be him. Visualization is not a fantasy. It's a mental rehearsal. And if you rehearse it enough, your reality will catch up. Step 4, starve the opposite voice. Now here's what 99% of men fail. They do all the right things in the morning, then undo it with one self-destructive comment midday. I'm such an idiot. I'll never be like him. I always mess this up. That voice, that's old programming trying to re-survive. So what do? Catch it, challenge it, change it. Here's an example. Old voice, I'm not disciplined. New voice, that's not true anymore. I became elite. Old voice, I don't belong in this room. New voice, yes I do. I've trained for this. Every time you reject a lie, you reinforce the truth. And over time, that new voice, it becomes your default setting. Repetition, belief, behavior equals results. Let's break down the loop that runs your life. Repetition creates belief, which drives behavior, which produces results, which reinforce your belief. That's the loop you're in right now, whether you like it or not. The question is, are you looping greatness? Are you looping garbage? Because whatever you repeat most wins. You've been stuck in the wrong cycle for years, but now it's time to break the loop. It's time to use auto-suggestion the way the 1% use it. Not for hype, not for fantasy, but for reprogramming. Rewire your focus, rewire your habits, rewire your destiny. Because the most powerful thing you could tell yourself isn't I made it. It is, this is who I am now. Here's the final truth, the one most men never grasp. If you don't tell your mind who you are, the world will do it for you. In the world, it doesn't care about your greatness. It profits off your insecurity. It sells you comfort. It markets doubts and feeds you labels. Lazy, average, replaceable, until you believe them. But you're not here for average. You were never built for that. You're done being programmed by haters, by algorithms, by critics, by old wounds, by voices that never built a damn thing. From this point forward, you speak your truth or you live someone else's lie. Words are not just sounds, they're blueprints. Let's get this clear. When you say I am focused, I am powerful, I am the type of man who follows through, you're not lying, you're leading. You're not faking, you're forging. Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between truth and repetition. It just obeys what it hears the most. So every time you speak strength, you're stacking bricks on the foundation of the man you're becoming. Want to know why you feel weak sometimes? It's not your genetics, it's not your circumstances, it's because you've been narrating your weakness. I can't stay consistent. I've always been broke. I'm not like those guys. I mess up on everything. Say it long enough and you'll start to live it like it's gospel. But here's the truth. You've never been stuck. You've just been rehearsing the wrong script. Change your script, change your life. Every morning is a mic check. So what are you saying? Are you speaking defeat before you even start your day? Or are you declaring war on limitation? Because you have two options. Keep repeating the words that broke you. Start repeating the words that build you. Here's the kicker. You don't wait until you believe it to say it. You say it until you believe it. Tell your brain, I am a machine of discipline. I attract success because I act like success. I make moves, I don't make excuses. And your brain will just adjust. Your actions will align and your world will respond. Now I'm gonna give you a practical power move. The daily declaration. Write this down, speak it out loud, repeat it daily. I am focused, driven, unstoppable. I finish what I start. I take massive action. I reject distraction. I am a magnet for opportunity because I live on purpose. I do not chase comfort. I chase legacy. That's not hype. That's your operating system. Because here's the final secret. The man who speaks with power begins to walk with power. The man who speaks with vision begins to see vision. The man who commands his inner world becomes unshakable in the outer one. The brain believes what the mouth repeats. You've heard it before. I can't focus. I'm not built for that. I'll always mess up. It's too late for me. Every time you say that, your brain says, got it. I'll make that true. But now, starting the day, you can flip the switch. Every time that old voice shows up, you interrupt it. You rewrite it. You replace it. I can't becomes I will. I'm not becomes I'm becoming. I always fail becomes this time I dominate. Because the language builds reality. And the man who commands his language commands his life. This is the last reminder. Speak like the man you're becoming. Speak future into existence. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. When you're tired, when you feel doubt, when no one's watching, when nothing's working yet, especially then. Because that's how men are forged. You don't just talk different, you train different, you think different, you rise different. So if you want change, it starts with your mouth. Because every time you say I can't, your brain believes you. But the moment you say I will, your entire world starts listening. And one day soon, it'll answer back. Today, choose a new script, write it, speak it, feel it, do it every day. Watch your mind and your life evolve. The next level of your life is waiting on one voice. Yours! We all picked up Think and Grow Rich to build wealth, to change our life, to finally unlock what's been holding us back. But Napoleon Hill wasn't just talking about money and wealth. He was talking about something deeper, something invisible, something lethal if you don't have it. Starts with the F. It's not religion, not superstition, but it's a mindset so powerful that the world bends to match it. This 5-letter word is faith. Let me say this clearly. Without faith, you can grind 24/7. You can chase every opportunity. You can read every book, watch every video, and still fail. Because faith is the engine. It's the force behind every dream that becomes real. No faith equals no results. No belief equals no action. No inner conviction equals no outer success. This isn't positive thinking. This is survival. This is power. This is Think and Grow Rich, the real version. And if you don't learn to build unshakable faith, your dream dies before it even has a chance. Let's fix that right now. Every empire, every fortune, every transformation you admire, it all started the same way, with belief. Not money, not followers, not strategy, faith. The Wright brothers, no degrees, no funding, just faith and flight. Steve Jobs, no guarantee, no fallback plan, just faith and vision. And Napoleon Hill, he didn't just write about wealth, he wrote about the mindset that creates it. And he said it best, faith is the head chemist of the mind. In other words, your mind shapes your beliefs shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your results. And faith is the spark that turns ideas into action. It's the fire that pushes you forward when everything says stop. Without faith, your thoughts are empty. You have no muscle, no drive, no power. They die before they take off. And you felt it, haven't you? You've had a dream, a real one, a vision that made your heart race, but then doubt crept in and it whispered, I don't know if I'm ready. What if I fail? I'm not sure I have what it takes. And just like that, boom, the dream died. Not because it was impossible, but because you didn't believe it was possible. You see, most men are waiting for permission, waiting for proof, waiting for the perfect moment. But faith doesn't wait. Faith moves without proof. Faith acts before the path is clear. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I'm walking like it's already mine. That's the difference between the man who talks and the man who builds. Because faith isn't something you find. Faith is something you build. And the way you build it is by moving before you're ready. By showing up even when no one claps. By grinding even when the vision is blurry. By deciding I am the one before anyone else believes it. Faith grows through motion. Faith grows through repetition. Faith grows through persistence when everything around you screams quit. That's why most people stay stuck. They're waiting for certainty. They're waiting to feel confident. But confidence is a reward, not a requirement. It shows up after the work, after the risk, after the faith. So here's the truth. No one told you. The dream isn't dead. You just stopped feeding it. The fire's not gone. You just forgot how to light it. So today, start with one decision. I will move, even if I'm scared, even if I'm unsure, even if I fail. Because the engine behind every dream isn't money, isn't talent, isn't timing, it's faith. Build that, and the rest will follow. Let's flip the script, because here's the twist nobody talks about. Faith is always active. It's not something you get later. It's something you're using right now. The only question is, where is your faith pointed? When you say, I'll never make it, I'm not built for this, I'm always messing up. That's not self-awareness. That's not realism. That's not honesty. That's faith in failure. You're not doubting, you're believing, just in the worst case scenario. You can lie to yourself, but you're not gonna lie to me. Because I know you've practiced it over and over until it became automatic, until you didn't even question it. You thought it was just you. So what happens? You move like it, you shrink, you hesitate, you self-sabotage, you pull back at the finish line. And life reflects that belief right back at you, because your mind is always obeying the dominant belief, always following the script you feed it. So let me ask you, what if you just change the script? What if instead of faith in your downfall, you place faith in your becoming? What if you actually believe that you're being shaped right now for something massive, that every obstacle is training, not punishment. Woo, that's powerful. Let me say that again. That every obstacle is training, not punishment. That you're capable of far more than anything currently you see. How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you attack your day if you knew for a fact that this pain is a part of my process? This delay is building my patience, not blocking my path. This failure isn't the end. It's the furnace of my future. Listen, faith isn't a feeling. It's a decision. You choose it. You stand on it. You fight to keep it alive, even when it looks dumb, even when no one claps, even when the progress is invisible. Because here's what the haters and the critics won't tell you. Faith feels ridiculous right before it becomes real. Think about that. When you speak confidently before you win, people think you're crazy. When you act like a king while you're still broke, they call it delusion. But later, when the vision manifests, suddenly you're a genius. Oh, wow, he's a genius. Suddenly it all makes sense. Then they start deriding. But here's the irony. Faith only looks smart in hindsight, but it only works in the present. So don't wait for the crowd. Don't wait for confirmation. Don't wait for the right time. Choose the new belief now. And that's not some empty motivation BS. It's brain science, it's psychology, it's spiritual law. Your thoughts shape your reality, but it's your faith that gives those thoughts power. So if you're gonna believe something, you better not believe in your downfall. You better not believe in disqualification. You better not believe in your old identity. Believe in your becoming. Believe in your rise. Believe in the version of you who's already on the way. Because you already have faith. Now it's time to point it in the right direction. Let's talk about something rarer than talent. Something more dangerous than rage. Something more magnetic than charm. Conviction. Conviction is power. Conviction is clarity. Conviction is the man who doesn't flinch even when the world laughs at his face. And you know why? Because conviction doesn't come from results. It comes from faith. Faith gives birth to conviction. Conviction gives birth to action. And action, consistent, bold, belief-driven action, rewrites reality. Here's the truth. Most men are curious, not convicted. They're interested in success, not committed. They want proof before they move. They want guarantees before they grind. But the men who build legacies, the men who bend the world, the men who move without applause, the men who build without permission, they speak the future before it arrives. That's conviction. That's what separates someday talkers from right now doers. And that's what Napoleon Hill had. Do you know his story? He spent 25 years interviewing the greatest minds of his generation. Ford, Edison, Carnegie, Rockefeller. He sat at their tables, took notes on their habits, absorbed their wisdom. But for years, no book, no audience, no money, no proof that it was working. Most would have quit. Most would have said, this is a waste. It's not paying off. Nobody cares. But Hill didn't stop because he wasn't moving off hype. He was moving off conviction. He knew the vision wasn't a fantasy. It was a preview. And that's the secret most people miss. Faith creates the future because it lets you act like it already exists. Rewind this statement and listen twice. When you believe it's already yours, you stop playing small. You stop second guessing. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And you start asking, what needs to happen next? Conviction turns your goals into standards. It turns your desire into non-negotiables. It turns your hope into strategy. You don't wish for it. You work like it's already done. And when your actions match your belief, you become dangerous because now the outside doesn't control the inside. You're not waiting for validation. You're not swayed by opinions. You've already decided. That's the mindset of the elite. the mindset of the bosses. That's how winners think. That's how wealth is truly built internally before it ever shows up in your bank account. Let me ask you, what would you start today if you had unshakable faith it will work? How would you walk if you knew your breakthrough was around the corner? What would you change if you actually believed the universe was responding to your intentions? Because it is. And if you don't believe that, you've been brainwashed by the wrong system. We got to get you together. So go ahead and subscribe to this page right now so we can get you together. See, the system teaches you to wait, teaches you to play it safe, to be realistic. But greatness was never realistic. Conviction isn't logical, it's spiritual. It's the quiet voice that says, I was born for this. This storm will not break me. I'm building something that doesn't exist yet. And when you speak like that, you move like that. You live like that. You stop being the man who reacts and become a man who creates. That's the invisible power of conviction. You can't see it, but the world can feel it. And soon they'll see the results. Because when faith becomes movement, the future becomes inevitable. Every time you settle for less, every time you talk yourself down, every time you choose comfort over calling, you're not just playing it safe, you're shrinking your future. You're not avoiding risk, you're avoiding the man you were born to be. Let's be real, fear is loud, so loud that you can't think, you can't move. But so is faith. If you feed it, you've been told to be humble, to stay realistic, to play it safe. But the truth is, you're not here to fit in. You're here to wake up. Wake up your mind. Wake up your faith. Wake up your fire. You weren't made to survive. You were made to create. Create vision. Create momentum. Create belief so deep it's unshakable. That's when the world starts to bend around it. And that starts with what you say. Say it with your chest. I will act boldly before I'm ready. Say it with your chest. I will believe before I see. Say it with your chest. I will persist when others quit. Say it with your chest. I will think like the man I'm becoming. Let those words hit like Javante Davis. Let them echo inside you like a dark tunnel. Let them bury the doubt you've been dragging around for years. Because here's the simple truth. Thoughts are things, but faith is the force that brings them to life. A thought is a seed, but faith is the water, the sunlight, the grind it needs to grow. Without it, the seed rots. With it, the seed rises. So if you keep thinking small, you keep living small. You'll keep hoping instead of building. You'll keep waiting instead of winning. But today, that ends, bruh. No more shrinking. No more second guessing. No more trying to play it cool when your heart is screaming for more. Because here's what faith really looks like. It looks like showing up when you're tired. It looks like choosing discipline over dopamine. It looks like betting on yourself. It looks like betting on yourself when no one else will. It looks like taking the leap before the net appears. And the crazy part, that's when the net does appear. That's when doors open. That's when momentum finds you. But it only happens after you commit. So stop thinking like a slave to your circumstances. Start thinking like a builder of your destiny, because that's what you are. A builder, a creator, a commander of your mind. Not a victim, not a follower, not a mistake. Say this out loud. I am no longer asking for permission. I am no longer waiting for proof. I am no longer thinking small. From this day forward, I think in faith. I move in belief. I live like it's already mine, because it is. You were never meant to crawl. You were meant to rise. And the thing that lifts you isn't luck, it's faith. Think and Grow Rich wasn't just about wealth and money. It was about inner power. It was about belief before evidence. It was about the one idea that changes everything. Faith. And now it's your turn. Believe so boldly it scares you. Act so consistently, it inspires others. And think so intentionally, you become the man others only dream about. Because the man who thinks in faith grows rich in every way. You want the truth, but can you handle the truth? You're not stuck because you're past. You're not stuck because your parents. You're not stuck because of your environment, your income, or your circumstances. You're stuck because of one thing: your thoughts. Let that hit for a second. Every man lives inside a mental prison. But the crazy part, the bars were built with his own beliefs. Here's how it happens. From a young age, you absorb messages from everywhere. That's not realistic. Be careful. That's not for people like us. You're too young. You're not that smart. You'll never be like him. You hear them once, them twice, them 100 times, and without even realizing it, you start repeating them to yourself. That's when it becomes dangerous, because once you start thinking small, you start living small. Not because you lack talent, not because you lack potential, but because your mind is obeying the programming you never questioned. Napoleon Hill said, "Truly, thoughts are things." That wasn't a metaphor, it was a warning. Because whatever dominates your mind eventually dominates your life. If your dominant thought is, "I'll never make it," your brain will prove you right. "I'm not good enough," your energy will shrink. Success is for other people. You'll stop chasing it before you even start. But here's the plot twist. The same mechanism that's been holding you back is the one that can set you free. Because thoughts don't just limit, they also build. Every millionaire, every great athlete, every revolutionary leader, they all started with the same thing, a thought. What if I could create that? What if I became the first? What if I changed everything? That what if wasn't wishful thinking. It was the seed of everything. And it started with one choice. They refused to believe the same thoughts that kept everyone else stuck. So now the real question becomes, what thought are you feeding today? Because the one you repeat the most, the one you protect, believe, and obey, that's the one shaping your reality. Most men think a negative thought is just that, a thought, harmless, fleeting, private, something that lives in the mind and dies quietly. But here's the uncomfortable truth that most never realize. Your thoughts are instructions. Your thoughts are blueprints. Your thoughts are orders to your future. You're not simply a product of your environment. You're a product of your inner dialogue. And if your mind is polluted with doubt, fear, weakness, and excuses, then everything you build will contaminate by day. I know you're like, what you mean? Wait, let me explain why. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious goes, "Roger that." Every time you think success is too hard, your nervous system tightens. Your shoulders slump, your body withdraws. Every time you whisper, "I'll never be that guy," you reinforce an identity that rejects growth. This isn't spiritual fluff. This is neurological facts. Your subconscious mind doesn't care whether a thought is positive or negative. It doesn't evaluate truth or fiction. It simply records and responds. The subconscious mind is like a soldier on the battlefield. It doesn't ask why. It doesn't debate. It simply follows orders. And those orders, they come from your thoughts. Your mind is a supercomputer, but you're the programmer. Think of your mind like a search engine, like Google. Type in a question, "Why am I such a loser?" And it'll put up every failure, every embarrassing moment, every mistake you made since you were a child. But type in, "How can I overcome this?" And it'll start looking for strategies, for mentors, for breakthroughs, for answers. Your brain mirrors the question you ask most often. Your questions create your emotions. Your emotions drive your behavior, and your behavior carves your destiny. So when you say something casually like, "I'm just not motivated, I suck with women, I always be broke," you think you're venting, but you're actually training your brain to prove you right. It will start searching your memory for validation. Then it creates emotions to match. Then you'll start acting in alignment with that belief, even when you don't want to. And this is the trap. Most men live inside of a prison that their own psychological hands built. They whispered self-doubt so long that it became reality. They spoke mediocrity so often that it became reality. They've repeated failure in their heads so long, and now they don't even try. The most dangerous phrase a man could say, let me tell you something chillin'. The most dangerous sentence you'll ever say is this: that's just the way I am. No, that's just the way you thought for so long. You weren't born lazy. You weren't born addicted. You weren't born timid. You weren't born average. You became that through repetition, through tucking your tail. You said it enough that your subconscious mind accepted it as law. And because your subconscious is obedient, loyal, it begins shaping your emotions, reactions, and behavior to match the belief. You stop applying, you stop risking, you stop dreaming, you started shrinking. And now you walk around calling that your personality? It's not, it's a script. And the good news is, scripts can be rewritten. Repetition is power when you use it on purpose. There's a reason why commercials play the same line over and over again. Why songs repeat the same chorus. Why propaganda works. Repetition wires belief. Belief drives behavior, and behavior creates results. You've already experienced this. You've already used auto-suggestion, just in the wrong direction. I can't focus. Your brain reduces its attention span. I'm not lucky. You ignore opportunities when they knock. I'm bad with money. You subconsciously make poor financial choices. This isn't magic. This is science. So if you want to build something powerful, something elite, you must become ruthless with your internal blueprint. You must become aware of your dominant thoughts. You must catch the weak voice in the act. You must choose new commands and install them daily. Start rebuilding your blueprint. Here's where things change. Here's what you do today. Number one, identify the weak blueprint. Start with brutal honesty. What do I repeatedly say to myself? What do I believe about my potential? What thoughts feel automatic but disempowering? Write them down. Unmask them. Number two, choose a new command. Replace it with a stronger truth, not some generic affirmation, a personal, emotional, present tense command. I am a focused, dominant force of nature. I attract success through consistency and intensity. I am disciplined, driven, and locked in. Number three, speak it until it sticks. Every morning, every night, during your workout, in the mirror, not once, for a week, until it becomes a part of you. Intensity matters. Emotion matters. Repetition matters. If you do this slowly, your blueprint shifts. You become what you rehearse. You embody what you repeat. You attract what you align with. Your thoughts are more than thoughts. They are your future. At the end of the day, here's the raw truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your patterns of thinking. No amount of ambition can survive if your thoughts contradict it. No amount of hustle matters if your identity is weak. You don't just think positively, you need to think powerfully. You need to reprogram your mind to move differently, to execute relentlessly, to lead your life with clarity and control. Because when your blueprint changes, your body follows, your behavior upgrades, your presence sharpens, and your life transforms. So let me leave you with this. If your thoughts were bricks, would your mental house be a fortress or a trap? Rebuild it brick by brick, word by word, belief by belief. Because your mind is always building something. Make sure it's building the man that you were meant to be. Here's what separates the average from the unstoppable. The average man thinks it once and hopes it sticks. The elite man repeats it until it rewires his being. Repetition isn't just about habit. It's how your brain physically reshapes itself. Every repeated thought forges a neural path. Think it enough and it becomes a highway. Faster, automatic, default. That's why it's not enough to think positively once. It's not enough to say I'm disciplined one morning and then go back to autopilot. If you want to change your life, you have to train like your mind is a soldier, because it is. And repetition is the drill. Think of your thoughts like reps in the gym. One rep changes nothing. 10 reps starts the process. 1,000 reps change your shape. 10,000 reps change your identity. It's the same with your mind. Want to become confident? You repeat thoughts of courage, clarity, and capability every day. Want to build some self-discipline? You hammer that thought like it's steel until it becomes instinct. Because if you don't, someone else will do the programming for you. Society, the algorithm, your past, all waiting to rewrite your script for you. Unless you claim the pen and start writing a new story. One thought at a time. This is how the top 1% operate. They write their goals down daily. They visualize their future before it arrives. They speak affirmations not like wishes, but like facts. They build a mindset so strong that it bends reality to match. And it's not because they're lucky, it's because they know the formula. Repetition creates belief. Belief creates behavior. Behavior creates results. Results reinforce belief. It becomes a feedback loop of greatness. But here's what most men miss. They stop too early. They think 1 week of journaling or saying affirmations will undo a decade of mental conditioning. It won't. Change takes time. Repetition takes discipline, but it works if you work it out. Now here's a practical blueprint to train your mind. Morning command sequence. Wake up, no phone. Number 2, 2 minutes of deep breathing. Number 3, repeat your personal mantra daily. I am focused. I am disciplined. I do hard things without hesitation. Number 4, visualize your day as a movie. You crushing at every task with precision. Number 5, feel the emotions as if they are already real. Emotions are the glue for repetition. Here's a midday anchor. Write your number 1 outcome for the day. Read your goals down. Say out loud, this is who I am. This is what I do. Take a moment to recalibrate your focus. Repetition isn't passive. It's active engagement. Now here's the protocol for the night rewire. Number 1, review your day. Wins, losses, adjustments. Number 2, speak gratitude. Number 3, repeat your identity statement before bed. I am becoming the man I was born to be. Number 4, visualize yourself succeeding in the next 24 hours. Number 5, drift off knowing your final thoughts of the day are seeds planted for tomorrow. You don't leave a soldier untrained and expect him to win the war. You don't leave your mind unchecked and expect it to lead you to greatness. Every time you repeat a powerful thought, you build armor. Every time you visualize success, you build certainty. Every time you choose focus over fear, you build leadership. But skip the reps and you stay soft. Say it once and the old you still runs the show. Whisper your goals and the noise of doubt drowns them out. Want to change your life? Outwork your past. Outthink your doubts. Outrepeat your excuses. Outspeak your inner critic. Train your mind like it's a weapon, because it is. And soon the world will reflect the warrior you've become inside. Because repetition isn't boring, it's becoming. And the man who controls his thoughts controls his destiny. Now, let's get to the hard truth and a deeper challenge. You were never meant to be average. That quiet frustration you carry around, that constant sense of, I should be doing more, that invisible pressure in your chest reminding you that this isn't it. That's not weakness, that's not confusion. That's the real you, the high level you, trying to wake you up. But most men hit snooze. They silence the voice. They bury the hunger. They numb the fire with distractions, comfort food, endless scrolling, meaningless nights. And they wonder why they feel hollow inside. But let me ask you this. What if the missing piece isn't motivation? It's not talent. It's not timing. What if it's simply the thoughts you allow to repeat to yourself? Here's the truth that should shake you, break you, or motivate you. Every man is building a future. The only question is what kind? Some build it through conscious design, brick by brick. Others build it by accident, with random, careless thoughts they repeat without knowing. Because make no mistake, if you keep thinking like a nobody, you will stay one. If you keep narrating weakness, your life will reflect it. If you keep obsessing over what's missing, you'll never realize what's already inside you. It's not just a thought, it's the blueprint for your habits, your grind, your mood, your results, your relationships, your destiny. So here's your new script, your mental foundation. Say it, write it, burn it into your subconscious. I'm not a follower, I'm a leader of my own mind. I don't beg for opportunities, I create them. I don't fear failure, I fear settling. I don't escape my problems, I solve them. I think powerfully, I act precisely, I live intentionally. Say that before the world wakes up. Say that when things get hard. Say it until the voice of doubt in your head can't be heard anymore. Remember, the most successful men you admire, they didn't think their way to success one time. They trained themselves to think like winners until it became who they were. Because the secret isn't a strategy, a shortcut, or a life hack. It's a shifting in thinking. It's looking at every obstacle and saying, this isn't here to stop me. This is here to shape me. It's facing every doubt and saying, this isn't truth. This is the old programming. I choose a better thought. It's waking up every single day with a clear, powerful thought. My reality is a reflection of what I choose to believe. And then choosing better, choosing stronger, choosing thoughts that build the man you were born to be. Because listen, you don't get what you wish for. You don't even get what you work for. You get what you think about most. So if you're tired of being stuck, if you're sick of feeling like you've been falling behind, start thinking like the man who's already ahead. That's how you bridge the gap between who you are and who you're supposed to become. Because if thoughts are things, then the most powerful and important thing you'll ever build is the man in your mind. Watch this video on the screen to learn the importance of auto-suggestion. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're just misdirected. You've been lied to repeatedly, quietly. Every man is born with fire, not just any fire, a primal force burning deep inside your chest. It shows up as desire, drive, hunger, the urge to move, to conquer, to create. It's not a curse. That's your power. That's your birthright. But from the moment you hit puberty, the world starts whispering in your ear, chase pleasure, chase women, chase validation. If it feels good, it is good. And slowly, without realizing it, you drift. You drift from your power, from your focus, from the man you were meant to become. They feed you dopamine and call it freedom. They hand you screens and call it connection. They show you bodies and call it love. They profit from your distraction. They profit when you waste your energy. Because a distracted man is a powerless man. So what do? You chase, you scroll, you swipe, you release. Again and again and again. And each time you lose just a little more of yourself. Until one day you wake up tired, frustrated, empty. Not because you've been doing something wrong, but because you've been doing the right thing in the wrong direction. You were made for more. You know it. I know you feel it deep down in the pit of your stomach, that relentless hunger. That voice that says, this isn't it. And it's not. That energy you feel, that fire in your belly, it's not just sexual. It's spiritual. It's creative, it's explosive, it's transformational. It's the fuel of kings. It's the spark that built empires, forged warriors, and sparked revolutions. It's the same force that powered minds like inventors, philosophers, visionaries, but only in the hands of the disciplined. Only when it's not wasted on pixels and parties. only when it's harnessed, focused, and transmuted. This is the difference between living a life of quiet desperation and building a life of legendary impact. It's not about suppression, it's about transformation. You don't need less desire, you need a bigger mission, a higher purpose, a reason to rise when others sleep, a reason to train, to build, to strive, not for attention, but for legacy. Because when you master your fire, you don't just become stronger, you become unstoppable. And it all starts here with the choice to stop wasting, stop leaking, stop chasing, and start directing. You don't need a new life. You need to awaken the one that's been buried under years of distraction. That fire inside you is still there, waiting, ready, burning. You were made for more. Now it's time to become it. What if I told you the real boss up doesn't come from the gym or money or followers? It comes from your discipline. We're taught to chase comfort, to chase relief, to chase release. Let it out, they say. It's healthy, it's normal, it's natural. But is it? Or is it that the system wants you to believe that? Here's the truth no one tells you. Every time you give in to short-term pleasure, every time you reach for that screen, every time you press play on something you wouldn't want your future self to see, you're not just releasing tension, you're releasing power. You're teaching your brain to expect reward without work. You're training your mind to be lazy, to settle, to surrender. You think you're relaxing, but really you're rewiring your instincts. You're doling your edge, you're dimming your fire, and afterward you feel it. That hollow feeling in your chest, the heavy fog in your mind, the subtle shame that you try to scroll away. It's not in your head, it's not weakness, it's your soul telling you the truth. You were made for more. You see, what they don't teach you in school, what they won't show you in your feed, is that sexual energy is creative energy. It's spiritual energy, it's visionary energy. It's the same power that writes books, that starts movements, that builds businesses, that changes history. And every time you waste it, you're throwing away potential. Potential that could have been shaped into strength, into clarity, into momentum. But when you hold it, when you choose not to chase that fake dopamine high, when you say no to what's easy, and yes to what's real, something shifts inside of you. You start thinking clear, your focus sharpens, you walk taller, you move with a mission, you speak with weight, not noise, and people notice. Without knowing why, they feel it. They feel your presence, your power, your charge. Because you're no longer leaking energy, you're containing it, you're forging it. You're building pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. This isn't new. It's not a trend. It's ancient. It's primal. It's the way of kings, monks, warriors, and high-performing men throughout history. They knew that self-mastery isn't about avoiding temptation. It's about transcending it, turning the same fire inward, using it to scope your mind, your habits, your path. This isn't about fear, it's about freedom, because the man who can control himself can control his future. You don't need to release, you need to rise. Hold it, harness it, redirect it, and watch what happens. You'll feel it in your eyes, in your voice, in the way people respond to you. You'll walk into rooms with invisible thunder, and because discipline speaks louder than desire, and purpose is sexier than pleasure. So no, you're not missing out. You're leveling up. One day of discipline at a time. One choice at a time. One inner victory at a time. The myth of release. It was never about freedom. It was about control. Theirs over you. But now you see through it. Now you take it back. This is what real masculinity looks like. Not consistent release, but powerful restraint. The boss up isn't found in what you take from the world. It's found in what you hold, in what you protect, in what you become. This is your power. Don't waste it. You don't have to suppress your desire. You have to aim it. This is the part no one teaches you. Not in school, not on social media, not even in most self-help books. You're not broken for feeling desire. You're not weak for being hungry. You're human. You're alive. You're wired to want, to chase, to conquer. But what if the problem isn't the fire? It's where you are aiming the flame. The world will tell you to suppress it, to numb it, to run from it, to shake it down, go monk mode, cut off all desire. But here's the truth. You don't need to run from your urges. You need to transmute them. You need to aim them. You need to redirect them. Not into fantasy, not into a screen, not into a shallow validation, but into purpose, into impact, into something bigger than you. Take that raw primal energy and point it at something higher. Your business, feel your ambition, your body, sculpt it into a weapon. Your mission, grind with fire in your chest. Your art, pour that energy into your craft. Your empire, build what no one else dares to build. This is what the greats did, the real legends, the misunderstood masterminds. Nikola Tesla, single-minded in pursuit of innovation. Leonardo da Vinci, desire turned into a brilliance across every field. Napoleon Bonaparte, raw hunger redirected into conquest in history. They didn't destroy their desire, they dominated it. They didn't kill their fire, they channeled it. And when you do that, when you stop leaking energy, when you stop scattering your power into cheap thrills, and you start to glow from the inside out, because sexual energy, when focused, becomes magnetism. It becomes drive. It becomes swagger. It becomes a field around you that people can feel. You don't have to speak it. You don't have to explain it. People just sense it. This man is different. Your posture changes. Your voice deepens, your eyes sharpen, your work ethic explodes. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging for attention and start commanding respect. This is not fantasy. This is not hype. This is real ancient power, rediscovered in a modern world. The men who build legacies, the men who become legends, aren't the ones who had no urges. They were the ones who mastered them, who wielded them, who bent desire into discipline and turned that discipline into destiny. And don't run from your hunger. Don't hate your desire. Honor it, harness it, and then transmute it. You were born with the fire. Now it's time to forge it into something unbreakable. This is the secret weapon. Not suppression, not shame, but focus, force. And that force is already inside you. As a man, you were never meant to chase pleasure or women. You were meant to build something powerful. Make them chase your name. You have a choice, like every other man. Scrolling, swiping, chasing short-term highs, and forgetting long-term greatness. Living for Friday nights, wasting weekends, empty inside, but too numb to admit it, too distracted to change. Or you become dangerous, not with your fists, not with fake bravado, but with discipline, with vision, with clarity of purpose that shakes rooms when you enter them. You can master your mind, control your impulses, transcend the noise, and build a life that speaks so loudly you don't need to. Because when you stop chasing women and start building yourself, everything changes. You become a man worth knowing, worth following, worth remembering. You see, your power was never in how many numbers you could collect. It was never in how many women you could impress. It's how many lives you could change, how much legacy you could leave behind, how deeply you can impact the world. But first, conquering yourself. That's the shift. That's the transformation from lust to legacy. It starts with your energy. Your sexual energy is not a weakness. It's your nuclear fuel. And every time you hold it, every time you channel it into your mission, you sharpen, you evolve, you elevate. Your hunger becomes hustle. Your lust becomes leadership. Your cravings become clarity. You stop moving like a boy and start walking like a king. You stop asking for attention and start commanding your respect. Because the man who masters his sexual energy is the man who becomes unshakable, unstoppable, unignorable. Not because he forced the world to see him, but because he became a man the world couldn't ignore. So hold your energy, direct your focus, build your vision, and don't just live for the moment. Live for the name you'll leave behind. Because one day, long after you're gone, they won't remember what you chased. They'll remember what you created.